powers of the time, Britain and France. This, like I said before, this war, there were a series of wars. There was a King William's War, there was a Queen Anne's War, King George's War, and this was the climactic war of the strife between the French and the English. In Europe, this is called the 7 Years' War, and there was, and a lot of the contemporary historians like to call it the First World War, because it was truly a worldwide conflict. The British were fighting the French in India. They had some troops in India at that time. The French and British were fighting in India. They were also fighting in Europe, and there was a lot of allies to the different. I'll get later on in the day. We'll try to pick out some of the uniforms of some of the units here today. We've got even have a Russian unit which was allied with the Austrians, who were allied in turn with the French. So we have a small detachment of the Russians here today. It makes it a little bit more interesting. The French will be on your right, allied with the Indians, Native Americans, the Russians, and the French militia. Here to my front, there's a group of Rogers Rangers. The British couldn't get too many of the Indians to do their scouting for them or information gathering, so they relied on frontiers, but in the you can tell they're green uniforms, and the most famous leader of this group would have been Robert Rogers of Rogers Rangers. We have to my front, there's a group of Highlanders. During this period, the British government three different regiments of Highlanders to America to fight the French. Most famous was the 42nd, or the Black Watch. There's a regiment of the Montgomery's Highlanders, that was the 77th Regiment. Fraser's Highlanders, the 78th Regiment. So we have a little detachment of each of those three regiments. Back on the hill, we have some of the provincials, I think, cannons. This is the British stronghold. They fortified the hill up here to repel the attack of the French and Indians. You see the white coats of the French Marines with the blue facings. Some of the French, we have some French regulars over there. Some of the Canadian militia also. The French had a little bit different strategy for their colonization. They were mainly interested in trade with the Indians and converting the Indians. So the French Jesuit priests would try to convert the Indians to Christianity in the period. And this made some strong ties between the Native Americans and the French. On the other hand, the British were confined basically to the settlements along the Atlantic seaboard. Except for the Iroquois League, they didn't trust the Indians to do much of their scouting for them. Probably for good reason. You may see some of the Indians though fighting with the British, and they were principally Mohawks of the Iroquois League. The cannon used at this time to be on the field like probably called battalion guns. They were more than the large normally 2 to 3 pound guns. And they were on field carriages. You'll notice a lot of on the carriages to make them easier to move. I think in the French fort you may have some garrison gun. Those look much like a kerosene gun. Pretty much a standoff now, folks. Not much movement on the line. I think we're about to see a move. Some of the regulars and Canadians are lined up and ready to attack. You'll see on the right side there on the French line, you see some fascines that was anti-personnel set up on the field to stop a charge of the opposing army. We had some breaches on the British side here, and they were using the same region. The big French gun up the French insulation on the hilltop, trying to answer the British cannon on the left. Both armies are trying to maneuver for a better position on the field. There goes a detachment of Rangers trying to dislodge some French on the right flank here. There's some movement now on the French line. They're trying to clear the position a little bit for a second. The French will have to cross this creek in the middle before they can contact the British troops. So that may slow them down a little bit. And the artillery are having a little duel going on here. Pretty steady fire. You'll notice some of the fire is random and some of it's period. The style of warfare of the period generally is called linear warfare. And that's basically, simply put, it's line up in the line and fire your muskets at the opposing troops. Accuracy is not a big deal in those days. And the British musket of the period and also the French musket probably haven't been able to effective range much over 100 yards. So the troops had to play it fairly tightly before the serious injury.
And there's my classmate dead. How sad.
Here comes a group of Highlanders in the foreground here. These are elements of the 74th. They're the troops with the red coats and the green facings. And some of the 74th is a red coat with the beige facing.
Of course.
Of course, some of them have leggings on, and that's something that was developed by the soldiers during this period of history in warfare in North America. The bars and brambles in North America are awful hard on those tender little Scottish legs. Well, they've closed pretty close now. We should have some casualties here pretty soon. Stiff fire. I think we've got a few down over here in the foreground. The ones in the little peaked hats look a little bit like Koh-Koh-Mah. They're the first to that's a Royal Regiment. Royal Regiments designated by Constitution. That was the King's own regiment. Some of the Canadians are getting away over here on the right. There's some Rangers and some Indians allied with the British. Closing on the French's right flank, driving them back to the fort. Highlanders have maneuvered for a little better position. The French have rallied a bit and they're forming up again down around the fort. In front of me is a group of Hessian troops allied with the British. The British kings of the period were King George himself could not speak English. King George I. And he had a connection with some of the German states. Germany wasn't a country at that time. It was a collection of and 20 states. What I'm being Brunswick, and that's where our Hessian troops are from, Brunswick. George II, who obviously was King George I's son, he would have been the king at this time in history.
Wow, George III. 47
King George II died in this war went on from, well, actually, England declared war on France in, I think it was 1756. The war was over basically in 1762. In 1760, King George II died, and King George III took over. Interesting enough, King George III married the Duke of Brunswick's daughter. We have some provincial militia on the British left flank, pushing the, you can see them in their blue coats with red facings. These are principally New England troops, New York troops, maybe some from New Jersey. First Indian War in America, the British took a while to understand how to fight the French. Brown was defeated in 1765. That was actually before the war was declared. So before there was a young Virginia officer named George Washington. He was supposed to take dispatches to the French, and there was a little skirmish that happened, and one of the French commandants was killed in that skirmish. So Washington had to get out of the country and try to get back to Williamsburg.